This is Get Real with Bob and Stacy, the show that helps you learn about the mortgage and real estate markets. Get the inside scoop from their expert list of guests and have some fun along the way. Now, here's Bob Gallagher and Stacy Alcorn.
Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real with Bob and Stacy. You're joining us for our Leaders and Legends segment. Our first guest today is Donald Carpenter, founder of DFC Wealth Management and author of The Family Man's Stock Market Volatility Survival Guide. Welcome to the show, Donald.
Well, thank you so much. Good morning.
So I want to give everybody some background on Donald. In September 2005, he established DFC Wealth Management as the culmination of years of research and development in the areas of portfolio management and financial planning. DFC Wealth Management is proud to offer clients time-tested, straightforward practicality where theory meets application, science meets art, and, as they say, where the rubber meets the road. In response to the $11 trillion that evaporated from the U.S. equity markets during the crash of 2001, Carpenter began searching for market solutions that worked, something more than the financial misfortune yielded by the mantra, buy and hold. An ardent researcher, he became obsessed with acquiring skill sets that could make sense of the confusion and chaos of the markets and would thwart the devastation of cyclical fear and greed. To this end, Carpenter has successfully developed equity portfolio strategies over the last 10 years. He has developed equity portfolios for institutional and private clients in 3 disciplines: aggressive equity, growth equity, and balanced equity. Prior to the launch of DFC Wealth Management, he was employed at the Beverly Hills office of a major Wall Street firm. There he became financial planning coordinator and was awarded special recognition for his contributions to the development of the financial planning program. As the financial planning coordinator, he wrote 4 times more financial plans than any other advisor. Carpenter combines the experience he gained as a specialist in financial planning with his common sense approach to investing. The results are content and confident clients. So I want to start with his new book, The Family Man's Stock Market Volatility Survival Guide, How to Defend Your Family in Any Economy, because I'm guessing you're bringing all of this wealth of knowledge to anybody that picks up the book. Tell us about you and why you wrote the book, Donald.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and thank you so much. So, about me. I've been in this business for a little over 20 years, and I've been noticing over the course of time that one class of individuals had not been taken care of as well as I thought they might be, and that's guys that are responsible for families. So that was one. And then 2 was, how do we make sure that they handle their finances and their financial obligations that are related to their families in the most prudent manner possible? And so that's kind of how I put the book together. As it turns out, we've got 11 million guys in the cohort of 18 to 54-years-olds that are missing from the economy. So the idea of manning up, and part of manning up being taking a hold of your finances for yourself and your family, seem to be pretty timely.
So, in fact, in the book, you say that men need to get back to acting like adults. So what do you mean by that?
Well, not just men. I think the culture in general. We have a tendency to just complain. I mean, if this election cycle isn't proof of that concept, I don't know what is. But people have a tendency to rely more on their feelings than facts. In my opinion, they have a tendency to not take their responsibility seriously in general. I'm making broad blanket statements that don't always apply to everybody, but to the guys that they do, I think they could use the advice.
So you say there are basic steps every family and really everyone should take to ensure their financial future. What are some of those steps?
Well, the first thing I think people ought to do is step away from an over-reliance on media, social media, television, and just sort of start to try to look at things from a fact-based perspective. And then once they can start that, when we're talking about their finances, also pull away from an over-reliance on, stock market gains. Everybody in the past has said, what kind of killing can they make in the stock market? How can they be involved in, making as much money as possible? And honestly, it starts at a different place. It starts with working. It starts with taking care of the people that you love. It starts with being prudent, saving money, getting some insurance, steps that protect you and your family before you start thinking about what kind of a killing you're going to make in markets.
Let's say somebody already has covered all of the basics. They have plenty of money on reserve, a good insurance portfolio, and a good financial plan. What would you advise them to do?
Well, they really have taken some really important and good steps. The next thing to do would be to construct their financial outlook in such a way that it continues down a path of prudence. One of the most important things they can do is start to have regular family meetings. Just talk to one another, get to know one another again. I think I mentioned it in the book. Take out the earbuds, put down the smartphone, and start having conversations with your family about what you need to do. I mean, sometimes in an economic situation, economic downturn, even an economic upturn, you need to be able to communicate with the people that you love, and particularly if there are children involved, start teaching them very early about financial responsibility.
And when you say have plenty of money on reserve, what do you usually recommend for your clients?
Well, it used to be that we would say 3 to 6 months on reserve, but because of the disaster premium after 9/11, because of tornadoes and earthquakes in different parts of the country, that's gone up. It's now 12 months to maybe a year and a half of expense of money that can cover expenses on reserve.
I better start saving.
I don't know a lot of people with 18 months reserves.
What happens if there's a big disaster, God forbid, the local economy can shut down pretty quick, and so you've got to really have some resources to be able to handle. I mean, just take 9/11. People were out of work for quite a long time, but they still had bills to pay. So with that kind of thing, with those kind of potentialities on the rise, you really got to take advantage of some prudent planning.
In the book, you say that family men are not working for their boss or their company, but they're working for their family. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we get so bogged down with our duties and responsibilities outside of our family that we forget that's why we're there. We're really there to take care of the ones we love, our wife and our kids, and anybody else that's in nowadays our parents, anybody else that's in our sphere of care. So you just take the focus and turn it around instead of saying, I'm working for my boss or I'm working for my company and, oh, my gosh, this is such a dreary, dreadful, time in my life. Turn it around and start working for the people that you love. Make love that motivation for all the things you do when you leave the house to go, work in the coal mine, or as I said, breaking rocks all day long. Whatever it is that you're doing, do it because of the love that you have for your family.
Good advice.
So it seems like there's so much turmoil after the election. What is your opinion of the U.S. stock markets, and where do you think the economy is headed?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we've got two things going on. One, the media, particularly here on the West Coast, and I'm pretty sure it's nationwide, they absolutely detest Trump. I mean, the guy can't get a break, and I'm not sure that he deserves one because he's kind of brash and bold and says the wrong thing every chance he gets. On the other hand, the markets love the guy. We started analyzing the changes, the rate of changes in the markets, and they've just been astronomical. I mean, if you look, there's an index called the VIX. It's called the Volatility Index, which typically is called the Fear Index. That is down 38% since he became elected, which means that the fear of investing is just it doesn't exist anymore. And if you look at other areas of the economy, the financial index is up 17%. The Russell 2000 is up 15.5%. The industrials are up 9.5%. S&P 500 is up 7.2%. All this since the election. If you looked at last week's job numbers, it was supposed to come in at 167,000. That was the the estimate. It came in at 227,000. So people are going back to work. If you looked at yesterday's unemployment claim, it's at a low that it hasn't been at since the 60s.
Wow.
So the economy loves this guy, but the media can't stand him. I don't blame the media, but for our purposes, we have to stay dispassionate. Partisan politics has no place in macroeconomic analysis.
That's a good point. I'm much more concerned about the economy than I am about politics.
Yep. I mean, when we're managing clients' money, I get people to say to me all the time, I got to put all my money in cash. This guy's going to destroy the world. And I'm like, well, if you look at the numbers and the way these things have gone and measure the rates of change, it's been a pretty big positive for the market. So business, markets, and people going back to work are starting to really pay attention to this.
As far as your business goes, can you explain the difference, and I don't even know if there is one, between a financial planner and a wealth manager? And what would a customer look like for you? Like, at what point would somebody hire somebody like you to help with their finances?
Financial planning and wealth management are very, very similar. There's a lot of overlap. Wealth management tends to, at least in our case, we have a holistic model where we'll look not just at a particular family's finances, but everything that they're doing, their business interests. It's more like a family office situation. So we'll look at their business interests. We'll look at, not just their investments, but their other assets. Do they have boats, aircraft, other properties? Can we be involved in, helping them take care of that? Do we look at their insurance portfolio strategies across the board? So we start with a financial planning model, but we're looking at everything that the client's doing and trying to get behind whatever they're doing it for. And one of the things we like to try to encourage them to do, and most of the time they're right on board with that, is doing it for their family. So we're right there, and that's our sweet spot. And your second question was about
who would hire you? So at what point would somebody hire your firm? Like, what would a customer look like?
People that have businesses, own businesses, are involved in either a small, medium-sized business are our ideal clients. And we really have had a lot of success working with people with families. So people that have kids that they're interested in and care about and love. I actually said in the beginning of the book, if you hate your family, don't even call us.
That's funny. I just went to a family planning conference in California, and it was interesting family dynamics that you don't even think about when you own a business.
Oh, there's so many things involved. Legally, for instance, let's say you have a partner. He's got, two twin sons. They're in their 20s. And the guy tragically, one morning has a, swimming accident, or he has a heart attack. And now your partners are his major shareholders, which are the sons. So what planning have you taken to make sure that those kids aren't going to be your partners, and that you've got some replacement strategy involved for worst-case scenarios? So we're always thinking, what could the worst-case scenario be? Let's plan for that, but really, let's hope for the best.
That's so interesting. You said earlier that one of the pieces of advice you would give to people when investing in anything is don't base it on a feeling, do research on it. So where would somebody start to research if they're looking to invest in, say, a stock market?
Well, that's not an easy job. So unless you've got, an extra 8 to 12 hours a day, you probably should hire somebody that's really good at that. Hint, hint, that would be us. The other thing is that all this information is available now in the age of technology. The Internet has so much that's really good and available. The problem is sorting out people or strategies that are successful against those that are hype, and that just takes time and a lot of diligence. But it can be done, and they are out there. So, you just got to roll up your sleeves, do some work, or find somebody that can do it. The problem is that a lot of people hire the planner or the advisor or somebody that's got a really great story but not a lot of really good results. So one of the ways that I recommend in the book to check that out is go to the FINRA website and do a background check on your. There's a click right on the front page that says advisor check, and
Really?
you can get their entire history of how well they've done for their clients. I had one complaint in the 20 years that I've been in the business, and it was retracted 2 days later. So
wow. So what was that website?
FINRA, FINRA. It's a government website, and it's full of information. And one of the most, every advisor listening to this right now is going to hate my guts, but it has the record. It has a record of complaints of your advisor. So you can tell if you've got, when you go to that site, you can tell if you've got somebody that's potentially going to do you some good or somebody that's going to potentially do you some harm. So.
And last, I know you're in California. Are you helping people all around the country and world?
Not so much world, country, yes, but mostly our business is California based, and we're happy to reach out and talk to anybody at any time, and which is one of the reasons why we're on the air in Boston.
Awesome. So we have with us Donald Carpenter. He is author of The Family Man Stock Market Volatility Survival Guide, How to Defend Your Family in Any Economy. And where is the best place for people to find you and pick up a copy of the book?
Well, Google.
That always works.
Google Donald F. Carpenter Jr., and I'll pop right up. If you just do Donald Carpenter, it gets a punk rock guy with a mohawk. But if you do Donald F. Carpenter Jr., that's me. Or you can Google the name of the book, The Family Man Stock Market Volatility Survival Guide. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and the like. You can go to my website, which is dfcwealth.com. Or you can call me directly, 310-777-6777.
And that is Donald Carpenter. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Donald.
It's been my pleasure. You guys are great.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.